Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the brand new Italian heavy tank at tier 8, the Progetto 54. Now this is the tech tree one, this is the brand new line. What do I think of this tank initially off the bat? I don't like this tank. I think it's not that great. The gun handling's not that decent. The reload's dreadful. It's just not that good. The fact that it's got a worse reload than the Bisonte says a lot. Because it actually reloads half a second slower than the Bisonte, but has 40 less alpha. Let that sink in. And the Bisonte's reload is dreadful. The one thing this tank does have over the Bisonte is the fact that the gun is like 0.38 accuracy instead of 0.42. But the gun handling on it is still a bit poo. It loves a good miss, and it's really irritating in that regard. The mobility on the tank's really good though, as you see in here. It does reach its top speed pretty nicely, and that is a nice thing about the tank. You can play it more like a medium for that reason. In terms of the crew, I run Born Leader, Rapid Loading, Trap Mechanics, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, and Armour Angling. Now I run Armour Angling because over the average it's more likely to mean that you'll take at least one more shot to kill, and that means that you get more chances to put out an extra shell or two, which is extremely helpful on a tank like this, which is just a very slow firing tank. The thing with this new line is you really need a very long game to be able to actually get the damage out. So there'll be tanks, and there'll be a lot of them at tier 8, that you can do 3k damage easily in a 5-minute game. And I mean, like, easily, right? You could even do it in a 4-minute game, okay? This tank would need the full amount of time possible to be able to get anywhere near 3.5 to 4k to 3k. Now the clip potential is nice, obviously, because you've got 960 clip potential, but as you're seeing here, right now in this game, it's not something I'd recommend doing, is dumping the clip, because you just get stuck in a very, very long reload, and it's one thing that you don't want to do, and that is you just don't want to dump the whole clip. If you're going to fire as a burst, fire 1, 2, and then leave those two reloads to go back, well, those two shells to go back in again, because that way you're not waiting around, because that final shell is really painful to wait for. I mean, so is that one shell there that we've just loaded in. That one shell takes about 13 seconds to get, which is just a pain in the bum. The one thing these tanks are good at though is, number 1, kill securing, number 2, damage padding. So you see in here, I've decided, you know what, I'm going to dump the clip because I'm not going to attack those guys. Those guys are going to be able to outspot me and probably hurt me before I even got anywhere near them. And I decided, you know what, the Barask who died is the one that's spotting those guys. So he's now gone. He was spotting them. I'm not going to get another chance to keep firing single shot. So I may as well just dump the clip. Dump the clip, get the shots in, get the free damage, and then I've got the time to wait for the shells to go back in. But while we're waiting for the shells to go back in, the enemy team is capping. So it's like, right, okay, we've got to get back to the cap, we've got to help defend it. And that's what we're going to do, and the mobility on this tank is really good. Now, this brings us on to the equipment, and I run rammer, stabs, and optics. Optics because, well, you always want to have your view range as good as possible. Getting out spotted is just a pain, and depending on the map as well, just lead to your downfall. You want to have your view range as good as possible, so optics is always a valuable thing to have. Vert stabs, obviously, because the gun handling, I mean, it's up to you, because you might play this tank and the gun handling might feel okay. For me, I just did not like the gun handling, it just felt crap. So I put the stabs on, because I didn't run the stabs at first, and I put the stabs on and I felt the difference. Rammer, obviously, you want the DPM as better. But if you're not going to run the stabs, like I say, there is one way you could do this. You could either have vents, obviously, to try and help the DPM as much as possible, right? Just to have that DPM as high as you possibly can. Might only be a little bit extra, but every little helps. Or you can drop that and have the traction system. Because there's one thing that this tank has is very good engine power. So you can have the traction system, get that 10% extra top speed, go at 49 kilometers an hour and play very much like a medium tank. Because as you see in here, it is a very mobile tank, and that is a very nice feature of the tank. In terms of its armour, well, it's got troll armour. So it's got the type of armour where you'll ricochet a fair few shells, but should you be going in front of people and going, haha, look at me, I've got armour, you will bounce. No, because you probably won't. So we go for the tracks there of the Black Prince, because I'm hoping that I'll get the assistance on him as people farming, which is exactly what happens. We end up getting like over 1,000 assistance from it. And now we're just reloading the second shell. And we're trying to speed our way to the SU-152 and all the other guys that are sat on this hill as quickly as we possibly can. Now, we're 6 and a bit minutes into this game, and I've only done 2.5k damage. And to be honest, if I was in any other tank, I probably could have done more. Because for the 320 Alpha, I would have been firing a lot quicker, generally. I mean, you think about the... what's the tank? The CS52 lease that came out recently. That's got like 300 Alpha. And that reloads in about 7.5 seconds. This is 13 seconds. Like... yeah, the difference in the reloads is just crazy. Like I say though, it does have the ability to clip dump. And that does help pad damage and makes damage, especially on average, look better in this tank. Because there's a lot of situations where you basically are losing. And you decide, okay, we're going to lose. I've got a full clip. I've done 2k damage. I'm just going to dump this clip into the next tank I see. Bang. And then you've done 3k at the end of the game. And you go, oh, I did 3k. Well, it was ineffective damage. Because you did that damage at the end, but when the game was lost. And you couldn't really affect the game with your reload at all. And just made yourself look better by just dumping the clip. So, anyway, we finished that game with 3.6k damage, 1600 resistance, 1715 base XP. A nice game for the tank. Yeah, it's just a frustrating tank, really. Just how long it takes to reload is just a pain. And it's just really frustrating. And that's the thing. Because it's potential, in it. It's... You have a good game and you think, if I was in any other tank in those situations, that could have been so much better. But for the most part, I was just sat around twiddling my thumbs waiting to reload. And that is just an irritating thing about the tank. If it had it's one of those things as well, if it had like 3 seconds off the reload, it wouldn't even be OP. It probably wouldn't even be strong, it'd just be okay. It's just sad how long this reload is. It's just a dreadful tank for me personally. Well, I really don't enjoy it at all. And I'm quite glad that I got past it. That's not to say like the tier 9 after this is pretty decent. The reload is manageable and I kind of enjoyed playing through the tier 9. This tier 8 was a slog though. I really didn't enjoy it. So, we're on Sun River and we've taken up this position here. We did the thing that I say I like to do, which is double shot. And I did that because I wanted to get 2 shots into that Type 59-2 before he got across to the dunes on the K line where he's possibly going to go sit and get unspotted. I don't want to dump the clip because otherwise I would just be in a reload that is unbearable. And by double tapping I can avoid that and stick with a reload that is still unbearable, but you know, is what it is. We used the double tap there to finish off that T-29 because it was probably going to get finished off by someone else and I wanted to kill steal it. And now we're just waiting for the reload. They're pushing quite aggressively down below and I want to go help out these guys because they seem to be being very over aggressive. And well, you see, they're pushing right round, and that means they're pushing into the line of fire. But I'm just still waiting for that reload. It finally goes in. We pop one into the Caro, and this is not the time to dump the clip. This is where I've got to stay single shot. I've got to keep my DPM as high as it possibly can be, just so I can stay in the fight. So we're waiting for the reload to come in. We finish off the CS there. We get a nice roll. And again, it's just waiting for that reload to come in. And we're just... This is where I would have been firing so much quicker in any other tank. And this is just where it's a bit painful. Because I probably would have put 2 rounds out for every one I'm putting out now. And it just means it's so slow. And you just... I don't know, it just feels like you're twiddling your thumbs. That's what it is. You are twiddling your thumbs in between every reload. And it's just a pain. So we get a nice shot into the roof of the defender there. Again, we're just waiting for this very slow reload to go in. We poke round, pop one in. It's like, okay, this guy's going to get finished off. Let's do it ourselves, get the kill, and we shut him down. Again, I wanted to go around and drop the final shell on that Caro and get the 3rd kill. But I decided, you know what, the reload's going to be too painful. Let's just let them do that, wait for our 2 shells to come back in again. That's it, the worst thing you can do in any of these tanks, really, is dump that 3rd shell. Well, actually, I think the T9's not that bad for dumping the 3rd shell, but... yeah, that 3rd shell just adds a painful amount of reload on to the clip, and it just means you are waiting around for so long to be able to do anything you want to. So this shell's coming in, this final shell again, and we're just going to come in and finish off this T54 Mod 1. And then we're going to boost our view range with food and see if we can spot anything when we poke up on top of this ridgeline. We do, we spot the light tank and the P43 Tur. And we get a nice shot into the Tur. We're just going to wait for the reload again. We're not going to fire that 2nd shell yet. We're going to wait. We've got 3 seconds to go. 2, 1, and now is the time to pop that shot into his side. Pop a 2nd shot in because he's sitting there, and it was like, okay, let's put this guy down onto a 1 shot. And off we go. There's only 2 tanks left. It's a T44. It's the SU-130PM. We've got the time to reload these shells. I'm just hoping that we're able to get there. This is where the good mobility of the tank comes into play, because the good mobility means that we can actually zoom across this map to try and get there to be able to get any damage off on these guys, and that's a nice thing. And yeah, I mean, that is the strength of the tank. The mobility is really good. It's just a shame that they've killed the reloads so much. Like, I get adjusting them, right? Because they might be too strong, and they do have that sort of playstyle. They can't be as good as an auto-loader at auto-loading. They can't be as good as a single shot at single-shotting. But there's too far, and that's what they've done with this tank, and that is too far. So we get a nice shot into the back of the T44 there, as this Stone Cold's face-hugging him. We're not going to be able to finish him off, but again, a really nice tally for this tank. We finished the game with 4 kills, 4.4k damage, 1,000 assist, ace tanker, Confederate high caliber, 849 base XP. Like I say, a really nice game for what is a very poor tank. And if its reload was just that little bit better, it would be a decent tank, but hey ho. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!